When a soft-spoken Cancer marries a stubborn Taurus, is it a recipe for harmony or disaster? For Dana and Reggie, it was a tragedy that would become a chilling local legend. They were a young African-American couple, married for only 6 months. Friends said they were total opposites who somehow just clicked. Dana was emotional and intuitive, a classic Cancer. Reggie was grounded, practical, and slow to anger, a textbook Taurus. Their honeymoon had been put on hold due to money troubles, but they finally saved enough for a weekend getaway. They booked a quiet, rustic cabin near the beautiful Lakewood reservoir. It was meant to be a romantic escape, a chance to reconnect after months of quiet tension had crept into their new marriage. But instead of a fresh start, their trip became the setting for a story that would haunt the area for years to come. On the second day of their belated honeymoon, hikers on a trail near the reservoir heard something terrifying. It was a woman's scream echoing through the trees. They called the park rangers, who immediately started a search. It didn't take them long to find the source of the horror. At the bottom of a steep, rocky slope, they discovered Dana. She was lifeless, her body bearing injuries consistent with a long, brutal fall. Her husband, Reggie, was found nearby, frantic and hysterical. He told investigators that Dana had been taking photos near the edge of the cliff when she lost her footing and slipped. It was a tragic accident, a terrible end to their romantic weekend. At first, the authorities had no reason to doubt his story. The area was known for its treacherous terrain, and accidents, while rare, were not unheard of. It seemed like a heartbreaking but straightforward case. But as the investigation deepened, the simple story of an accident began to fall apart. The first red flag came from the medical examiner's report. Dana did have injuries from the fall, but she also had something else: defensive wounds. There were fresh scratches running along her forearms and bruises forming around her wrists, as if someone had forcefully grabbed her. These injuries, the examiner concluded, had happened before she went over the edge. This changed everything. Suddenly, investigators were looking at Reggie not as a grieving husband, but as a potential suspect. They got a warrant to search his phone, and what they found was explosive. Reggie had been having a secret affair with a coworker. The phone was filled with dozens of messages between them, painting a picture of a man deeply unhappy in his new marriage. But one text, sent just 2 days before the fatal trip, was particularly damning. In it, Reggie wrote to his secret lover, "After this weekend, things will be easier." The phrase hung in the air, sinister and loaded with implication. What did he mean by easier? Did it mean he was going to end his marriage, or did it mean something far more permanent? Still, the case against Reggie was purely circumstantial. There were no witnesses to the actual event, no security cameras on the remote hiking trail. The rocky ledge where Dana fell was wiped clean of any clear fingerprints. It was his word against the silent evidence on Dana's body. Reggie's story changed. He now claimed that he and Dana had gotten into a heated argument. He said she became hysterical and attacked him, and in the chaos she lost her balance and fell. He insisted that she grabbed his arm as she went over the edge, which would explain the scratches on her forearms. It was a plausible explanation, one that his defense attorney would cling to. But there was one final, chilling piece of the puzzle that emerged, a detail that never sat right with anyone who heard it. The owner of the cabins came forward with a haunting story. She said that on the morning of Dana's death, just hours before the fall, Dana had come to the front office alone. She was visibly shaken, her eyes wide with fear. She quietly asked the owner, "Do you have another cabin?" "I don't feel safe." Before the owner could do anything, Dana was gone. Hours later, she was dead. Despite the suspicious texts, the defensive wounds, and Dana's own chilling words, the prosecution struggled to build an airtight case. When it went to a grand jury, they couldn't reach a unanimous decision. There was simply too much reasonable doubt. And so Reggie walked free. He left the state shortly after, disappearing from the public eye and refusing all requests for interviews. The case was never officially solved, leaving a permanent question mark hanging over the town of Lakewood. To this day, the story is whispered among locals. They say if you go down to the reservoir near dusk and listen carefully, you can sometimes hear a woman's cries carried on the wind. Is it just the sound of the breeze moving through the cliffs? Or is it the restless spirit of Dana, her final moments unresolved, forever echoing over the water? We may never know. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as haunting as we did, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video.